What it do, everybody? Jericho Green, I'm back. And I'm recording in the house, y'all. Some people ask me in the comments how come I was recording my car. I have little kids. The youngest is asleep right now. The oldest is gone with her mom. But when you have little kids, they don't give a fuck about no YouTube video. They just want to play. But here I am. Let's get into it. Randy Moss, you're a dumbass. What are you doing, man? Did you not learn anything from Colin Kaepernick? People don't want politics and social issues with their football. Keep your peanut butter out of my chocolate. You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing that shit? Get up there. Get your weird... The busts never look good when they do little statues they make of them. Get your weird-ass bust, your gold jacket, say something, cry, sit down, and shut the fuck up, man. Now, if you don't know, if you're living under a rock somewhere, Randy Moss was wearing a necktie at his ceremony to be inducted into the Professional Football Hall of Fame. And on the tie, he listed, names we've all heard as far as quote-unquote police brutality, quote-unquote murders by police. And on his necktie, he had all these names listed. Greg Gunn, Tamir Rice, Akai, I guess, Gurley, Paul ONeill, Eric Garner, Freddie Gray, Walter Scott, Sandra Bland, Akil, Dinkins, Alton Sterling, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin. You've heard most of, if not all of those names. And what pisses me off, number one, like I said, don't be bringing that shit over here, man. People tune in to watch that ceremony to hear some speeches, to see two, former colleagues, maybe trade some stories, some shout outs. That's it, man. We don't go there to hear about what you think about these bullshit cases. Now, the other thing that pisses me off is we're always uplifting and highlighting criminals, thugs, and fucking crazy people. Now, let me go down this list real quick. I'll give you a quick synopsis of what happened in these situations and further illustrate why Randy Moss is a fucking idiot. Now, Greg Gunn, he was shot near his home. He was resisting arrest. He had a record of fighting the police. He punched a cop in the face. He resisted arrest. It was him and another cop. When a cop is one-on-one with somebody, they got to do what they got to do to stay alive. He had the baton. He tased him. Eventually, he went to deadly force and killed him. Now, if the police was out to kill him, it's 3:30, 3:40 in the morning. It's just them out there. Why didn't he just kill him? Oh, maybe because he wasn't a racist cop. Tamir Rice. Little 12-year-old boy in Cleveland, Ohio. You already know the situation in Cleveland, inner city. It's all fucked up. He was at a park playing with the pellet gun. Now, he had taken the orange tip off of the pellet gun, put there specifically so someone could identify that that's not a real gun from far away. Of course, I remember doing that as a kid too. Took that little orange plastic piece off there so it looks real, but he's walking around the park, pointing it at stuff, maybe pointing it at people. All in the video, you can just see him walking up and down the sidewalk pointing it. Someone calls and said there's somebody in the park with a gun. So then when police get that call, they're already mentally preparing themselves for what they're about to deal with. It's not like somebody called and said, hey, my cat's in the tree. All right, maybe the cop might be a little more relaxed responding to that call. When you think they show up, the boy puts his hand by his waist. That's it. The cop shot him and killed him. Now, I'm sure once they walked up on him and realized it was a little kid, you think those cops might have had a heart and were pretty broken up about it? Think they might have kids of their own? Akai Gurley. This was actually an accident. Cops were in a bad neighborhood, in a bad set of projects, like there's a good set somewhere. They were in some projects. There were no lights at all, actually. It was dark. The cop and this guy were walking toward each other unknowingly. The dude comes around the corner. The gun is accidentally discharged. It hit the ground and ricocheted and hit the guy and killed him. Very unfortunate. But was the cop out to kill a black person that day? No. Paul ONeill was a car thief. They were chasing him. He hit a few cop cars, hit a few parked cars, hit a couple police officers. When they finally stopped him, they shot him and killed him. I mean, I'm not even sure what the legal terms are for all those charges, but you hit a cop car and you hit a cop, that's not good. You think they probably feared for their safety? Eric Garner. Cops approached him for selling Lucy's out in front of some place. Apparently they had run-ins with him before, and this is again on tape. He's upset. He feels he's being harassed. He's yelling at the police. They go to arrest him. He resists arrest. He's a big dude. Dude had to be 6 foot something, probably pushing 400 pounds. So there were a few cops that jumped on him. They got him in a chokehold. You can see a freeze frame of the chokehold he had him in. It wasn't a straight arm across the throat like a lot of people say. He kind of had him in the V of his elbow. There were a bunch of cops on top of him. He was saying he can't breathe. The dude died. Come to find out, he had a lot of complications, hypertension, high blood pressure, all these other issues because he was so big. So was it the cops that killed him or his health issues? I don't know. But if you don't resist arrest, you usually get to go home. And that's another thing in these cases. You can't hold court in the street. If you feel the cops are doing you dirty, take your ticket, take your arrest, whatever. And when the smoke clears, take the right channels to get that cop in trouble or to prove that you were innocent. I don't understand this. Everything has to be worked out right here, right now. Freddie Gray resisted arrest. Cops pulled up. He took off running. They arrested him. Some are saying he had what's called a rough ride, where they drive erratically and you're getting slammed all inside of the vehicle. He died a few days later. But he was a criminal, thug, drug dealer. His rap sheet was long as shit. Walter Scott. Man, this dude, he just got shot in the back by what was probably a piece of shit racist ass cop. But the cop was convicted of second-degree murder. He didn't get off. In a lot of these cases, people say, oh, the cops are just murdering us and getting off. No, because it was probably justified. In this case, it wasn't. His ass went to prison, second-degree murder. What kind of time you think he's having in jail? A former cop. Sandra Bland. She was combative. She had mental health issues, number one. And she killed herself. Come the fuck on. And the cop wasn't even white. He was Mexican. Akil Dinkins, he was a gang member. They were executing a drug warrant for him. Resisted arrest. He got shot. Alton Sterling, he was resisting arrest. He had a gun in his pocket. The cops see the gun. Of course they're going to do something about it. They didn't want him reaching for it and killing him. You think they haven't dealt with this before? Mike Brown, everybody knows about this bullshit. I remember being in my living room, seeing this big crowd of people at a funeral. I was like, damn, did a celebrity die? No, some thug-ass fool who's trying to whoop a cop's ass and take his gun, and he got killed. And they showed the people at the funeral who was there. The usual suspects. Sharpton, Jackson, fucking Puff Daddy. They look like the fucking Source Awards up in there. Like all those people give a fuck about that dude. And of course, the crown jewel, the creme de la, Trayvon Martin. His name was on the tie, too. Now, what they do with a lot of these cases, they show pictures from when they're like 8 years old and there's innocent little boy with dimples in his face. They don't show you the motherfucker that the police had to deal with at their time of death. Trayvon Martin, he had burglary tools on him. He was a thug. George Zimmerman rolled up on him. He looked suspicious, didn't recognize him because he didn't live in the neighborhood. Started running his mouth, probably telling him F you. Started whooping his ass. Zimmerman felt threatened and shot him. But the reason he was there is because his mom sent him to live with his father because she couldn't handle him. He was becoming unruly. He was a thug in training. You know, single mom. There we go. That's the foundation for a lot of these. Single mother, fucked up neighborhood, no father. And he was from a bad neighborhood. There's pictures and stuff of him online, you know, with guns, his grill in. There's text messages back and forth with his friends talking about how he whooped his kid's ass. He was a little thug. And of course, they don't show you the picture of him at 17. They'll show you a picture of him when he's like 10 in his fucking class photo. No. He was unruly. His mom couldn't handle him. He was becoming one of these little wild-ass Thundercats, and he got shot. Now, of course, all these losses of life are terrible. No shit. But why are we highlighting people like this who are criminals and thugs? What about Tyshawn Lee? What about Taylor Hayes? What about Jennifer Trejo? What about these little kids who are at home in their rooms doing homework or on their way to school getting shot by these fucking gangbangers and these thugs? The celebrities won't make t-shirts about them. Jay-Z won't make a documentary about them because there's no money in it. Booker T. Washington said in the late 1800s, I'll paraphrase, but basically saying there will always be black people who want to make money off of the so-called suffering of black people. These race pimps, the Sharptons, the Jacksons, the Dysons, the Nasheeds, People like that who make money off of this racial discourse, this racial tension. He said that years ago. Well, it's still alive today. When you got people like Randy Moss putting their names on there, trying to uplift them, hold them up like they were just struck down in the prime of their life by these evil, racist white cops. And in some of these instances, the cops aren't even white. One of them, like I said, Sandra Brown, the dude was Mexican. The girly dude, the dude was Asian. So what the fuck are you talking about? Well, next time, why don't you wear a tie with the names of these fucking innocent people getting murdered by these fucking products of single mother homes in these violent ass fucked up neighborhoods? Mike Brown. What the fuck? Dude was a fucking thug ass criminal. And his parents were calling for fucking riots. You can see the video. Burn this bitch down. Why don't you use that as a chance to make peace in the fucking city and tell the truth? You couldn't turn out a good kid because you were raising him in a single parent home full of violence, over-sexualization, molestation, all the fucked up shit that goes on in the hood, and you want to blame it on white people and the cops. Ain't no cop put a gun to your head, made you lay down and have fucking 5 kids by yourself in a fucking war zone. God damn it, Randy Moss, you dumbass. I told you, I can't be done with the left. They won't let me. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. You know how I am, y'all. Jericho Green. And before I go, I am on the Twitters now. At Green_Jericho. Hit me up. Once again, at Green_Jericho. And as weird as this feels, but everybody keeps asking me about it, I do have a PayPal. If you want to throw me a couple ruples, I would appreciate that. Jericho Green, PayPal. Holla at your boy. I'll be back.